it's so meaningful for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We do this because we want to, and we understand that we're all veterans. And these people, no matter what their job was, they have earned their recognition. They're in their final days, and their families are there to share this with them. And so we make this as meaningful as possible.
Welcome to Better Together podcast, produced and directed by our Hospice of South Central Indiana, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to making every moment count. We share real stories about hospice, palliative, and personal care, provided in 22 counties all over South Central Indiana. If you're new to the podcast, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, give us a like, because we are better together. I'm your host and president, Steph Cain. Joining us today is retired Air Force General Mark Pillar, who retired from the U.S. Air Force after 37 years of distinguished service to his country. A native of Indiana, General Mark Pillar began his career in 1971 through the ROTC program and went on to serve as an EC-47 pilot in Vietnam, flying more than 90 combat missions and logging over 600 combat hours. Throughout his career, he commanded multiple air refueling wings and held senior leadership roles across the Air Force and Air Force Reserve, including Vice Commander of the 4th Air Force and Mobilization Assistant to the Military Deputy in the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition at the Pentagon. A command pilot with more than 5,300 flight hours, his service spanned missions in Vietnam, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Bosnia, and beyond. General Mark Pillar and his wife Linda live in Columbus, Indiana, where they remain active in the community and enjoy time with their 2 children and 3 granddaughters. And we are so honored to have you, Mark. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Well, today we are going to have a conversation about our We Honor Veterans program. And could you share a little bit about what inspired you to serve our veterans in the community at our hospice?
I was already serving veterans in the community, and I got a call from Mike Brown, and he was a policeman here in Columbus.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, General Pillar," he says, "we got this program at hospice, and we sort of do this little ceremony and everything, and you can still fit in your uniform, can't you?" I said, "Yeah, Mike, I can fit in my uniform." He says, "Well, I think you'd be really good at this. Would you be interested in joining us?" And I said, "Well, I'll learn more about it." And so Shelley got a hold of me and sort of tuned me into what was going on. And it's been a great program. I've been doing it since the beginning.
We're so blessed to have you.
Yeah.
You can't see this, folks, but Mark is in full uniform right now. And I'll tell you, it's quite striking. And I also, I'm really excited for him to tell you some stories about serving this way at our hospice. So walk us through what a typical day would look like as a We Honor Veterans volunteer.
Well, normally a day or two, or maybe a week before, I'll get a phone call saying, or an email saying, "We have a pinning on such and such a day. Would you be available?" And 9 out of 10 times I am available. So I put my uniform on, and we normally meet here, and then go to the place where the pinning's going to be. But sometimes we just meet where the pinning's going to be. When we get there, normally family is there. This is all coordinated with the family. It's a nice ceremony, but the family has to agree to do it, and the veteran has to agree to do it. And there are reasons that they don't want to do it, and we understand that, and we respect that. But when we get to do it, it's special. So we go in, meet the family, meet the veteran, and get to know the veteran. I ask questions, where were you based? What did you do? How long were you there? How long were you in the military? What were your jobs? Any stories that you want to share. I mean, we just sort of dig in. And, and then, so are you from here, or did you move back here, or how'd you end up in Columbus or Shelbyville or North Vernon or wherever we are? And so we talk to the veteran and get to know them. And then we do the ceremony. We have a poem that we read. We explain, I explain about the plaque and how special it is because it's made by our C4 students here.
High school?
In high school.
Okay.
When we started, we were just getting the plaques from Walmart.
Right.
And we decided to get more specific about it and made it special so that the C4 kids were making it. And it says the C4 is on the back of the plaque.
And they know that these are going to our veterans that served.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone goes there every year and says, you're not just making ordinary plaques. These are going to veterans that are probably on the downside of their life toward the tail end. And these are going to be very meaningful. And then I read about the pin and its significance. So we give them the plaque, then I read about the pin, and then I put the pin on them, and then give them a hand salute.
Well, you and I did one of these together just recently for a community member that served, our country, our community, his family. And personally, Bob Haddad Sr., and I know that you knew him personally, and so sometimes you know the veterans from, raising kids together, being in the community, serving together, and that really impacted me and our hospice team as well. I think the family gets to see and hear stories that they didn't know anything about, right? And veterans will talk to other veterans about things and learn things about one another.
Exactly, and probably 70% of the time, we'll hang around with the families afterwards. We'll take pictures. We'll take pictures with the family. We'll take pictures with just me and the veteran, and there's lots of pictures. But then the discussion. And I've been lots of places where the families will come up to me and go, I've never heard Dad talk about any of that. And that's understandable because a lot of these things, well, for instance, I was with a Marine from World War II, and he participated in Iwo Jima and Guadalcanal. And I looked at him in awe and said, you must be a cat with 9 lives to survive those two ferocious, historic battles and be here today at 89 years old. It's just a miracle.
Yeah. And, the way I notice the veterans straighten up and light up, their spirit just lights up when they see another fellow service.
Yeah.
Men or what.
And we're in uniform, and it's guy's got a chest full of ribbons.
That's right.
And a haircut and, and still fits in the uniform. So, but they just impress the heck out of me with their spirit. A lot of them, say, "Oh well, I was just a truck driver. I was just this. I was just that." I said, "No." I said, "We all served. Whether you served for 2 years or 20 years, we all served. We're all veterans, and you deserve this. You've earned this honor, and we are happy and proud to be here to honor you today."
My dad, this is on a personal level, he served in Korea in a MASH unit, and he was a physician. And he loved to watch the show. And that's a memory I have. And he wouldn't talk a whole lot about his personal experiences, but he would just love the show. And I loved being, with him. And I didn't get to experience We Honor Veterans with him when he passed. But of course we had, the gun salute and, the flag and all the wonderful things that the family means so much to our family. And so, would you share a story about maybe a pinning that made a lasting impression on you? Or?
Well, the one with the Marine was special, completely unexpected. The hard ones to do for me are friends like Bob Haddad, people I go to church with, people I've been on committees with, been in organizations with, guys that are younger than I am.
Yeah.
That's always tough. But the most meaningful one,
A lasting impression.
lasting impression.
Yeah.
So on Veterans Day, we would take as many of us that can go, and we would go to one of the nursing homes, and all the veterans, they didn't have to be in hospice, all the veterans would get a pin and a plaque. And being the senior guy, I would be the one that would explain all this and all this, that, and the other. And then we would take turns doing the pinning part. So there was this one elderly lady. She was about 94. She was a WAC in World War II, Women's Army Corps.
Okay.
And but she was with it. You know, she was sharp and everything. And she's seated, and I'm bending over and trying to put the pin on her lapel. And I said to her, I'm trying to pin this on you without touching you inappropriately. And she looked right up into my eyes and she said, "Oh, please do." and I lost it.
That's so good. That would leave an impression, a lasting impression.
Yeah.
Wow. There's nothing like talking to somebody who's been there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So she was comfortable.
Yeah, she was very comfortable.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Well, what would you say to someone who is considering becoming a We Honor Veterans volunteer to another veteran?
It is so rewarding. When you hear the stories, you get to know the veteran, and the families come up after you afterwards and tell you, that we hadn't heard that story before. I'm going to share a note. I'm going to leave the veteran's name out, but I got this note a couple of years ago. It says, "Sir, just a belated thank you for your participation in the Veterans Appreciation Ceremony for my father at the majestic care of Jennings County in 2019. The family appreciates that you took time out of your schedule to appear on an extremely short notice. After you left and before we left, the ceremony perked him up enough to allow us to interact with him and see him smile one last time. Priceless memory. Thank you again."
Such a gift.
Yeah.
We take care of the patients in hospice, but we also take care of the extended family. And that's what's different about this kind of care versus care that is focused on just the patient, maybe in a hospital. And we know there are times that that's necessary. But hospice is really focused on, the loved ones, the patient, the family. And then we follow families for 13 months, even after their loved one passes, and continue to walk through grief with them and talk about memories. And so this lasting memory means so much. And you can see from your note there.
And I went through that with my uncle. My uncle ended up in hospice, and I was part of the continuing care. The neat thing about the Honoring Veterans program is it's completely voluntary by hospice.
Yeah.
Not every hospice does it.
Right.
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not very high. I tell my friends that are retired in Florida, I said, get with your hospices down there and see if they have that program, because this is really a valuable program. It's, it brings back so many good memories for the veteran, and it highlights what they have accomplished and makes their family feel really good about their veteran.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful for you, for your service. I know we serve in Rotary together, and that's just been part of how you're wired up, is a life of service. And thank you so much for being a We Honor Veterans volunteer. here at our hospice.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is Better Together podcast dedicated to making every moment count. Thank you for listening. Please like us and share this episode on your social media channels. If you have a question or would like to learn more about a specific topic, you can find us at www.ourhospice.org or call 812-314-8083. Until next time, remember, we are better together, making every single moment count.